Joan Vassos, star of The Golden Bachelorette, had a totally different existence before joining the Bachelor franchise. The 63-year-old private school administrator from Maryland was happily married and had 4 children. She had no intention of returning to the dating scene in her 60s, but life has a way of upsetting even the best-made plans. Joan made her television debut as one of the 22 single golden women on The Golden Bachelor Season 1. Joan was cast as the first female star in the Bachelor spinoff after her relationship with 72-year-old Jerry Turner failed. Joan began The Golden Bachelorette Season 1 by meeting her own 24 single golden men, including 60-year-old Chock. Joan had been thinking about her late husband, Joan Vassos, throughout the journey. Joan had been happily married to John for 32 years before joining the cast of The Golden Bachelor Season 1. Joan described John as a lively and friendly individual who everyone liked. She had intended to spend her golden years with him and was shocked when he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. She believed he would be the sole person to ever survive the lethal cancer. Joan just spoke with Kathy Swartz from Season 1 of the Golden Bachelor on a podcast. Joan relates the painful story of her deathbed pledge to John in a clip from the Rogue Energy podcast released on Instagram. Before his death, he sat Joan down and told her, "You were a wonderful wife. I want you to go on living. I want you to find somebody else." Joan went on to add that was the best present he could have given her. Joan's decision to leave The Golden Bachelor early due to a family emergency proved to be the finest thing that ever happened to her. She was cast in the spin-off and met Chock. The couple got engaged during The Golden Bachelorette's Season 1 finale, and they've been blissfully happy ever since. So far, Joan Vassos of The Golden Bachelorette has maintained the promise she made to her loving late husband. Joan Vassos, star of The Golden Bachelorette, had a life filled with love, family, and devotion before stepping into the spotlight of the Bachelor franchise. The 63-year-old private school administrator from Maryland was happily married to Joan Vassos for 32 years, and together they raised 4 children. Joan never imagined herself re-entering the dating world, let alone doing so on national television. But fate had other plans. Joan Vassos was a lively, warm-hearted man beloved by everyone who knew him. Joan described her late husband as her best friend and partner, someone who made life joyful and complete. The couple planned to spend their golden years traveling, enjoying family, and cherishing the memories they had built together. However, their dreams were shattered when John was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, a disease known for its aggressive nature. Despite the grim prognosis, Joan believed that John would be the exception, the one person who would survive this deadly disease. She held on to hope until the very end. In his final days, John displayed the same selflessness and love that had defined their marriage. He sat Joan down and made a heartfelt request. "You were a wonderful wife. I want you to go on living. I want you to find somebody else." Those words, though painful, were a gift, an affirmation that Joan deserved happiness even without him. John's death left a void in Joan's life, but his final wish stayed with her. For years, she focused on her family and career, finding solace in the love of her children and the support of friends. Dating was the last thing on her mind. However, when the opportunity to join The Golden Bachelor arose, Joan saw it as a chance to honor John's wish. Joan made her television debut as one of 22 single women vying for the heart of 72-year-old Jerry Turner. Although their connection was promising, it ultimately didn't work out. Joan's journey on The Golden Bachelor came to an unexpected end when she left the show due to a family emergency. Little did she know that this departure would lead to a new beginning. After her departure from The Golden Bachelor, Joan was offered the chance to be the first female lead of The Golden Bachelorette. The prospect was both exciting and daunting, but Joan embraced it with courage and optimism. She met 24 single men, all hopeful for a chance to win her heart. Among them was 60-year-old Chock Chapple, a charismatic and kind-hearted man who immediately stood out. Throughout the season, Joan and Chock's connection grew stronger. They bonded over shared values, life experiences, and a mutual understanding of love and loss. Chock respected Joan's journey and the promise she had made to John. He never tried to replace John, but instead offered Joan a new chapter filled with joy and companionship. By the season finale, Joan and Chock were deeply in love. Chock proposed, and Joan accepted, marking the beginning of a beautiful new chapter in her life. Their engagement was a testament to Joan's resilience and her determination to honor John's wish for her to find happiness. One question that often arises is whether Joan Vassos would approve of Chock Chapple. Joan believes he would. John's final gift to Joan was his blessing to find love again, and Chock embodies many of the qualities that John valued: kindness, integrity, and a deep love for family. In interviews, Joan has shared that Chock understands and respects the love she had for John. He encourages her to cherish those memories while building new ones together. This balance of honoring the past while embracing the future is what makes their relationship so special. Joan's story is one of love, loss, and renewal. Her journey on the Golden Bachelorette was not just about finding a romantic partner, but also about keeping a promise to herself and to John. By opening her heart again, Joan demonstrated the strength and courage that define true love. Her story resonates with many viewers who have faced similar losses. Joan's ability to move forward without forgetting the past offers hope and inspiration. It's a reminder that love is not limited by time or circumstance. It evolves and endures. As Joan and Chock continue their journey together, they carry with them the lessons and love of the past. Joan's promise to John was not just about finding someone new, it was about living fully and joyfully, as John had wished for her. In Chock, Joan has found a partner who supports and uplifts her, honoring the legacy of love she shared with John. Joan Vassos' story on the Golden Bachelorette is a testament to the power of love, resilience, and the promises that bind us to those we have lost. Her journey reminds us that life is filled with unexpected twists and turns, but with an open heart, happiness is always within reach. Long before appearing in a Bachelor franchise show, the Golden Bachelorette's Joan Vassos lived a very different life. The 63-year-old private school administrator from Maryland was happily married with 4 children. The last thing she expected to do in her 60s was re-enter the dating pool, but life has a way of upending the best-laid plans. Joan made her television debut as one of 22 single golden women of the Golden Bachelor Season 1. When things didn't work out between Joan and 72-year-old Jerry Turner, she was cast as the Bachelor spin-off's first female lead. Joan kicked off the Golden Bachelorette Season 1 by meeting her own 24 single golden men, including 60-year-old Chock. Throughout the journey, Joan's late husband, Joan Vassos, hadn't been far from her mind. Long before joining the cast of the Golden Bachelor Season 1, Joan was married to John for 32 happy years, and they were best friends. Joan described John as a gregarious and sociable type of person whom everyone liked. She had expected to grow old with him and was in denial when he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. She thought he'd be the only person to ever survive the fatal cancer. During a recent podcast episode, Joan talked to Kathy Swartz from the Golden Bachelor Season 1. In the clip from Rogue Energy podcast, which was posted to Instagram, Joan tells the heartbreaking story of the deathbed promise she made to John. Before he passed away, he sat Joan down and told her, "You were a wonderful wife. I want you to go on living. I want you to find somebody else." Joan went on to say it was the best gift he could have given her. Having to leave the Golden Bachelor early due to a family emergency turned out to be the best thing that ever happened. To Joan, she was cast in the spin-off and met Chock. The couple got engaged during the Golden Bachelorette Season 1 finale, and they've been blissfully happy ever since. So far, the Golden Bachelorette's Joan Vassos has dutifully kept the promise she made to her beloved late husband. In the realm of reality television, few stories captivate audiences more than tales of love rediscovered. The Golden Bachelorette took this to heart, showcasing individuals in their golden years embracing new chances at romance. One standout from this groundbreaking series was Joan Vassos, a woman whose journey was not just about finding love, but also honoring a promise she made to her late husband, Joan Vassos. Joan's story resonated with viewers because of its sincerity and depth. At a time when many reality dating shows thrive on superficial drama, her presence reminded everyone that love, loss, and hope transcend age. Her journey on the show was marked by poignant moments and heartfelt revelations, many of which stemmed from a promise she had made to John before his passing. Joan Vassos, a life of love and loss, before becoming a household name on The Golden Bachelorette. Joan Vassos lived a life filled with love, adventure, and devotion. She and Joan Vassos had been married for over 4 decades, building a life together that was as rich in joy as it was in shared experiences. They traveled the world, raised a family, and navigated the ups and downs of life with unwavering support for each other. John was more than just Joan's husband. He was her best friend and confidant. Their bond was evident to anyone who knew them. However, life dealt a cruel hand when John was diagnosed with a terminal illness. Despite the heartbreak, Joan stood by his side, offering love and care until his final days. In the quiet moments leading up to his passing, John and Joan had a conversation that would shape the next chapter of her life. Knowing how much Joan valued companionship and love, John made her promise not to close herself off to the possibility of finding happiness again. He wanted her to live fully, even without him. The promise. "Promise me one thing," John had said, his voice frail but resolute. "Promise me you won't spend the rest of your life alone. If someone comes along who makes you smile the way I did, don't let fear hold you back." Joan hesitated. The thought of loving someone else felt impossible at the time. John was irreplaceable, but she knew that his request came from a place of deep love and understanding. "I promise," she whispered through tears, even though her heart couldn't fathom the idea. John's passing left a void in Joan's life, but his words lingered. For years, she focused on her family, friends, and personal growth. Love took a back seat until she was approached to be part of The Golden Bachelorette, the Golden Bachelorette journey. Joining The Golden Bachelorette was a decision Joan didn't take lightly. The idea of dating on national television was daunting, but she felt a pull to honor John's wish. Stepping into the spotlight, Joan brought grace, authenticity, and a heart open to new possibilities. The show presented her with a diverse group of suitors, each with their own stories and intentions. Among them was Chock Chapple, a charismatic, smart, and kind-hearted man who immediately stood out. His genuine nature and ability to make Joan laugh reminded her of John in the best way. As the season progressed, Joan and Chock's connection deepened. Their shared experiences and mutual respect created a foundation for something meaningful. However, Joan couldn't shake the question that lingered in her mind. Would John approve of Chock? Would Joan Vassos approve? Joan often found herself imagining John's reactions to her journey. He had always been supportive and open-minded. His request for her to find happiness again was proof of his selflessness. Still, the guilt of moving on weighed heavily on her. Chock Chapple, with his warm smile and compassionate heart, seemed like someone John would have liked. He treated Joan with respect and care, never trying to replace John, but instead creating a new chapter with her. One evening, after a particularly emotional date with Chock, Joan sat alone under the stars. She spoke aloud, as if John could hear her. "I hope you're okay with this," she said softly. "Chock makes me happy, John. I'll always love you, but I think you were right. There's room in my heart for more." In that moment, Joan felt a sense of peace. She knew John's love was eternal, and his wish for her happiness was genuine. Allowing herself to love again didn't diminish what they had. It honored it. A new beginning. As the Golden Bachelorette came to its emotional conclusion, Joan stood before Chock Chapel, ready to make a decision. Her journey had been one of healing, self-discovery, and courage. "Chock," she began, "meeting you has been a gift. You've reminded me that love doesn't have an expiration date. I promised John I wouldn't close myself off to happiness, and you've helped me keep that promise." Tears filled Chock's eyes as he took her hand. "Joan, you've shown me that it's never too late to find something beautiful. I'm honored to be part of your story." Their journey wasn't about replacing the past, but building a future together. One filled with respect for the love Joan had shared with John and excitement for what lay ahead. Joan Vassos' story on the Golden Bachelorette was a testament to the power of love, resilience, and honoring one's promises. Joan Vassos' memory remained a guiding light in her life, and his wish for her happiness became a beacon that led her to Chock Chapel. Would John have approved of Chock? Joan believed he would. After all, John had always wanted the best for her. By keeping her promise and embracing new love, Joan honored not just John's memory, but also the love that continued to shape her life. For viewers, Joan's journey was a reminder that love knows no age, and promises made from the heart have a way of guiding us toward unexpected joys. Her story on the Golden Bachelorette will forever be a symbol of hope, healing, and the enduring power of love.